I am Sar Madiel Ben Yehuda. Sar means minister. My title in the community, my role as minister, my portfolio is that of information. I'm charged to collect, to analyze, and then to disseminate information about the Hebrew Israelites here in Israel, about our particular history as a community and our history as a people connecting back to this land. We consider Israel to be Northeast Africa. We are living here in the southern portion of Israel in what is known as the southern Judean mountains. And of course, we have to make this clear that Israel predates any Palestinian connections here to this land. When you look at the name of Palestine, it was the name that the Romans gave to the land formerly known as Judea. Now, I didn't say Jewish or Judaism, but Judea. So the Judeans were the people that actually lived in this portion of this land prior to it being named Palestine by the Romans. So this is what we consider to be Northeast Africa. We are sitting on the African tectonic plate. There are African species of birds and animals and plants that you'll find all throughout this region.
Why I took you here is that I want to show you that the country called Israel is sitting on the African tectonic plate. It's like all continents are sitting on a plate, okay? And these plates, sometimes they slide in, you know, and they rub one another. And see, and what happens, that's what happens when earthquakes happen. The plates begin to slide among one another. And if you get a crack in one of the plates, magma will come up, you know, like a volcano. A magnum would come up, and it will cause, you know, great devastation because of the volcano, but it's because of the shifting of these tectonic plates.
Without question, we are in Northeast Africa. We are landlocked to Egypt, with the exception of the Suez Canal, which was a man-made ditch, a boundary now between, in fact, it's not even really a boundary anymore since Egypt has reclaimed the Sinai Peninsula. But nevertheless, even those of us who are Pan-Africanists in our thinking and Afrocentric, we forget and we leave off that portion of Northeast Africa and don't want to claim anything beyond that. Of course, Afrocentrists are still fighting tooth and nail for Egypt to be included as a part of Africa, because most Egyptologists and anthropologists, archaeologists of the Eurocentric persuasion will say that Egypt is in Africa. They had to concede that, but then they still draw the line by saying that they weren't Africans like that. In other words, they weren't dark-skinned people. And of course, this is all part of the Great Deception. And the reality is that if they give up Egypt, ancient Kemet, if they give that up and say that that was a part of black Africa, then they will also have to give up Israel. And that's why they draw the line at Egypt, because if they give up Egypt, they've got to give up Israel.
Now, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you where Israel sits on the African tectonic plate, which means that Israel is Northeast Africa. Now, when we look at this map, this is the Sinai. Okay? This is the Red Sea. This is Egypt. This is the Sinai. This is Israel. All right? This is Saudi Arabia over here. Now, if you see this in Hebrew, it says Haluach Afrikani, the African plate. Here it is right here. Israel is sitting right here. Israel is sitting on the Haluach Afrikani, which means that Israel is Northeast Africa. So people say, well, why do you say, but it's Asia Minor? You know, when Europeans be talking about this Asia Minor, I ask them, where's Europe Minor? Where's America Minor? Okay, this is the only continent with a minor. And you know what that minor is? It's a minor lie. It's really a major lie. When they say Asia Minor, they don't have to classify this land as being part of the African continent. And they want to call it the Middle East. The middle of what? Okay? The only reason why they call this the Middle East, because people here in England, when they would come down into the Mediterranean Sea and go through the Suez Canal, go into the Red Sea and go to Far East, go to China, They were saying they was in the middle of their journey.
We've done a great job in being able to demonstrate that this is Northeast Africa. And once we begin to look at it as such, and we stop believing this idea of Israel being a part of the Middle East. What do you mean Middle East? Is there an Upper East, a Lower East? What do you mean Middle East? It's a geopolitical term going to their east when they got as far as they could to their east, and they call that the Far East. And to this day, it's still called the Philippines, China, Asia, or Far East Asia, whatever. So when you look at going to those regions and passing through this region, passing through Syria, passing through Israel, passing through Egypt, passing through Afghanistan, Iran, etc., it made sense according to their worldview to call this the Middle East. It was the middle of their East. But no longer will a geopolitical term suffice for what we're saying is geological and geographical truth.
So let the truth speak for itself. It's not my interpretation. Here it is in Hebrew. This is written in Hebrew.
And in Hebrew that says?
This says Luach HaAfrikani, the African tectonic plate. That's where Israel is sitting on.
Also, for most of the blacks, they have a confusion about Israel. This is your home. This is your land.
I just thought this up. I predict that Obama was chosen president just so black people could feel like they have a place in the world now.
Yeah, this boy real smart. This boy, because let me tell you something. Barack Obama, this young man, my bad. See, now you can say that was a cut. You get you. Listen, this young man said something real smart. Now, Obama, for Israelites, for us, Obama is not our people because he's an African. We don't teach that we're Africans. Obama is not our people because he's an African. We don't teach that we're Africans. But what he said was correct. They put that black face in office, and then black people thought we made it. Black people. Because there's a difference between Africans and black people in America. Where they from? Where they from? Who? From Oh, so he might be African. Okay?
Say that again?
My mom is from Mali and my father's from Ghana, and I'm born here.
Now, I got you. You was born here. Do you see him as your brother? As your little brother?
If he was born here?
No, we ain't dealing with ifs. He already told you where he from. Where you from?
Mali and Ghana.
He from Mali and Ghana. Beautiful, smart young brother. Is this your people?
No. Not if he's an African. If he's an African...
Come on, brother.
Whoa. Why am I not?
See, now do you see the danger in that teaching, brother?
That just caused a line between us. That's not uniting us. That's pushing us apart.
How do you feel when you hear a brother from America say that you're not our people, we're not the same people? How does that make you feel?
Well, honestly, I don't care. And also, if you read back on history, your ancestors were in Africa at one point. So there is African in you. There's no Israel, you're African. No, if you're a black person, your ancestors were African no matter what, because that's where everybody came from. Every colored person came from Africa.
He's right, Tazariak, man. You come from there, whether you want to admit it or not.
If he's from Ghana, you said you're from Ghana, right? Your father's from Ghana, right? So if he's from Ghana, then he's not my people. You have to be heritagely. What I mean by that, your ancestors have to come from the same lineage.
But also, before I told you I was African, we made a connection. And right before that connection, after I told you African, that connection just broke between me and you.
We still dealing with the same connection that we had, which was knowledge. We wasn't connecting as far as you being this. I said you was a very intelligent brother. Now, after I found out you was African, did I say you was intelligent or unintelligent?
You said I was intelligent, but not your brother. And also, you said we all us black people need to become one. And if we all become one, that means us too. Cause listen, Listen.
Yes.
Listen. The white people think we all African American. We the same to them. Under their eyes, we the same people. You're not Serbian or whatever you say.
Hold on.
Not the same thing. You're the same thing.
Let me ask you this. If I bring my brother, this is my little brother. If I bring my brother with me to the cookout, can he get in with me?
No.
You mean to tell me you wouldn't let this brother in the cookout, brother? Look at it. Come on, Tazaria. This is the poison of that book. This is what we talking about, of the poison of that Bible, brother.
I'm sometimes downtown and I see people wearing like these cross things. Yeah. No, like those stars. And then David's shield. Yeah, I've seen people do that. Some people, they sometimes like need help. Sometimes like they have like a koi bag. Like sometimes. Well, I saw one. He's on the train. He's like, I need help, and I gave it to him because I thought, hey, he's my brother.
How do you make that connection between the Kemetic people, the Moors, and the Hebrews?
Same people.
That's what I was going to ask.
This is one of the biggest frauds
right,
that has come down the pike that causes divisions with our people. But it's also an indication that somebody does not know history, identifying their belief systems as their bloodline identity, which is an indication that they don't even know fundamental civilization. When you go back into the ancient culture of the Asiatics, you'll find that Moor and African are used synonymously throughout the world until about the 1600s. We are the same people. Based on the way the Europeans have taught the books, think it's a different people with a different religion, with some kind of special relationship with the divine creator that nobody else has. When we're all brothers, sisters, cousins, and all of us can be traced to the same families.
The gathering of the 12 tribes is a depiction of the square zodiac and the movement of those 12 constellations in their procession throughout the universe. The 12 sons' names are the names given to the 12 signs. The 12 symbols can be found in ancient so-called Egyptian Kemetic art. They are not Hebrew, the point I'm making here. That this knowledge about the zodiac, about astrology and astronomy, does not come from Hebrew. It comes from the black man called in this book Egyptian. These are not the 12 sons of Jacob. These are the 12 constellations of the universe.
My first question is regarding Isis, Ra, Elohim.
Yeah, Israel is nothing more than Isis, Ra, and El. Consequently, there's nothing holy about Israel. There ain't nothing holy in Jerusalem. Ain't never been nothing holy in Jerusalem, and there's nothing going to be holy in Jerusalem, Salt Lake City, Rome, or any place else. Religion is nothing more than manipulation of the human mind. There is a powerful spiritual dynamics to the universe, but unhappily most Americans haven't got into the famous idea about any of that. And I think that that's what's coming. I think there's going to come a time when we're going to start thinking in terms of, wait a minute, let's back up and look at this all over again. Who are we really, and what is astrology, and what is the Bible, and who really wrote it? And that's what I'm hoping to do, to be able to enlighten people that there's something else going on we haven't been told.
A black man who becomes a Jew will go out and point his finger at the European American who says he's a Jew. You ain't no Jew. You. And it ain't got nothing to do with that, okay? This is the concept that's important because we're talking about these are glands. These are the ones that say that they are Jews and are not. The 12 major glands in the human body. When you add this, then you understand what Jew means. When your glands reach this awakened, vibrant, spiritual state, shining like jewels, then you are a Jew. The 12 glands in the body are the 12 mineral stones, precious stones mentioned in the book of Revelation. Those are the real Jews. Okay. Other than that, you are a victim of your own chemistry.
We need to, how do you say, get information out to our people without them being sensitive to their belief systems. In our culture, Tetragrammaton actually deals with the 4 gates and the 4 elements. And yet Tetragrammaton is presented to people who don't understand it as the ineffable word or 4-letter word. You know, YHWH, and then those who don't understand the science just say Yahweh, you know, and then those who don't understand that say Jehovah. There is no Jew. We're Yahudi, which some people call Hebrew. It is no Hebrew, it's Ibri. That's those of us who crossed the river. It cannot be emphasized enough. And yet those same people will turn around and condemn cosmology, which is actually the foundation of all religions on the planet. And so what you find is people sitting around debating their beliefs that have nothing to do with the science of life.